गुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 14th chapter, verse number 29. It's continuation of description of dialogue between Diti and Kashyapa. And usually we may not expect such a thing in the scriptures. Because in the scriptures right? Scriptures talking about some dialogue between husband and wife which is supposed to be private. About their private affairs. But scriptures are there to give us knowledge and make us understand certain principles of life. So there is nothing private or public here. The idea is that we have to learn in our life how we have to live so that we can achieve the goal of human life in this particular life. And in that sense it is actually grace of these people who are talking and we are able to hear it. Otherwise if it is just kept secret, then how will we know? And of course people raise all kinds of questions. Today somebody, this Surajpal, was showing me one book written by some Buddhist and how he was trying to criticize the Vedas and Gita, everything. That Krishna does not know this and Gita has got 720 mistakes, and he says that the first thing he takes from the Veda is that Brahmanasya mukham asid bahurajanikrita, that the head of the Purusha is Brahmana, arms are Kshatriya, belly is Vaishya, and Padbhyam Sudra Ajayate, and the Sudra were born from the feet. So he says, look, what a stupid statement. He says the feet is not a place from where something takes birth. He says people are born from a particular part of a woman, not from the feet. So he says these Vedas are so crazy. They are saying that Sudras were born from the feet. So this is the beginning of his criticism, and then he goes on quoting so many statements from the Vedas and misinterpreting them. This is his criticism. And he was quoting Bhagavad Gita, that where Krishna says that anyone who will read this discussion, Adhyasatayo Imam Samvadam, then he will Adhyasate cha emam dharmam samvadam vayo gyani yajnena tenaham ishtasvami timemati. So one who will read this, then he will worship me with Jnana Yajna, sacrifice of knowledge. So he says when he was speaking there was no book, so how can he say one who will read it? So not trying to understand what is being said there and going into this is how modern scholars look at things, and then say, well, this must be written by 3 people then, because one who said like this and then somebody wrote like this, and this is how they analyze it. This is not a statement by Krishna, and Krishna does not speak in the first chapter at all, so why you say this is Bhagavad Gita? All types of. So scriptures are there to give us knowledge, otherwise one may say, well, who was there to listen to Diti and Kashyapa's dialogue when they were talking? There was nobody there. So how do you know that Kashyapa said this and Diti said that? And were they really speaking in slokas like this, or they were just talking in the prose Sanskrit? Were they poetic all the time?
Very unlikely, isn't it?
So that is not the point. Obviously they were not speaking like this. So Maitreya, he continues to explain that now when Kashyapa stopped trying to what is called dissuade her wife not to have union at this terrible time, so what happened after that? So Maitreya said, Saivam samvadite bhartra manmatho unmathetendriya jagraha vaso brahmarser vrishlive gatatrapa. When she was educated, informed, or spoken to in this way by the husband, then she, who was absolutely agitated in her mind by Cupid. Cupid has many names in Sanskrit. One is called Manmatha. Mana means mind, and Matha means to churn. So Cupid is one who churns the mind, who completely makes the mind turbulent, one who has the shot of Cupid's arrow, then the mind of such person is completely disturbed, cannot sit down peacefully. And Manmatha Unmathita Indriya, and then when mind is disturbed, then the other senses are also disturbed. So she is called here as Manmatha Unmathita Indriya, that her mind, her senses, everything was completely agitated, disturbed, and you cannot give good sense into head of such a person. It is not possible, because the words do not enter. The mind is so much vibrating that she would have not even listened half of what Kashyapa was saying. So therefore what she did, that she got hold of her cloth. He was sitting and meditating. So she pulled him by the cloth. Jagraho Vaso Brahmarse, and he is Brahmarshi. He is a great sage. There are various types of rishis or sages There are Rajarshi, Brahmarshi, Devarshi, Kandarshi. So he is Brahmarshi, one of the high type of sages. And she was pulling him by the cloth, Vrishali iva gatatrapa, just like a prostitute may pull somebody. Gatatrapa means without any sense of shame. So long ago when I was in ISKCON, somebody was telling me that there were brahmacharis and they used to go on book distribution, and while distributing books, this is in Germany, and they will stay somewhere in some hotel or small tourist places, and this brahmachari was also staying in their common bathroom, and he went to the bathroom and he was having his sacred thread, probably just having gamcha, and one woman came and pulled him by the thread took him away, and after that he was gone. Then he was not to be seen for many months. Finally he appeared again and explained what happened. So this is very powerful. Therefore it is described that the Cupid desire in woman is supposed to be 8 times more than men. There is famous sloka that women they can eat twice than men, they are 4 times more intelligent than men, they can work 6 times more than men, and they have lust 8 times more than men. Bhojanam dvigunotes ahara dvigunotesam buddhistasam chaturguna vyavasaya sadguna esam kamo ashtaguna smrita. So it is very strong, as you can see.
How does that fit in? Because today a big problem is rape. So if women were 8 times lustier than men...
No, it's not lustier in that sense as you think. It is when they have the desire, then it is 8 times strong current.
The desire for what?
Desire for sex.
So then...
If they don't have, they don't have. Men have feeble desire, but more spread out in time. All the time they are lusty.
Okay.
they said that a man thinks, I don't know, they have done all kinds of data on that in 1 hour a man thinks about sex 5 times or something.
Every 10 minutes it seems.
Yes. But women don't think of sex like that. But when they think, it is more intense, 8 times more intense. That it is just uncontrollable.
Yeah, because it's in this world, it's the women who are raped by men. It's not the women who are raping the men.
So this is talking about intensity.
Okay.
And they can have also sex 8 times more than men. Men can have once, maximum twice, then it's finished. But women can have 8 times. This is all the meaning. So therefore, this is a very problematic situation for him. And then he says, Saviditvat bharyayastam nirbandham vikarmani. So now he understood that his wife is very fixed. Nirbandham means very staunchly fixed. You may have heard this famous sloka, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha, from Bhakti Rasamrita Singh. That same word is used there, Nirbandha. So means she was very staunchly fixed on this vikarma, or impious act or illegal act, or what you will say, vikarma, it's opposite of sukarma, good action or bad action. So when he understood this, then what he did, he says, Natva Dishtaya, then he paid respect to the Lord or to the fate Dishta can mean. And Rahasi Taya Atha Upavivesha. And then in a solitary place, he had union with him. So he realized that it is impossible now, that all my consolation or power of dissuasion has not worked, and there is no other solution for it. So he took this as inevitable, or the what you call work of fate, that it is providence, it is fated, it is unavoidable. So many times such situations come in the life of people that knowingly they have to do things which they know it is wrong. Because as we have been talking in Sankhya, that we are not independent all the time. So even if we have independence inside, but we also live in the society, and especially he is married, so he has a responsibility. When a husband marries a wife, then he is not alone to make decisions. He also has to consider his wife's desires. So he accepted this. Therefore it says Natva Dishtai, that he paid respect to the providence, and then he engaged in the act with his wife. So this is an education for us to learn. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Bhartra evam samvidite gyapite sati api sati. That although she was informed or lectured or dissuaded by the husband in this way, yadva bhartra hetuna evam gyapite sati visliva vasyaiva, but it did not have any effect on her, and she behaved like a Vaishya or a society woman. So then there is a verse, I don't know from where he quotes it, but this verse is to show how when one has lusty desires, one's discrimination is completely burnt up, dead. It says, Kamo vivekam grasati swiyam annesya darshitam. He says that kama, or lust, it swallows the discrimination. And this has been shown by one's own experience and also by the others. And he says that there are two famous examples here, one for men and one for women. The example of man was Brahma, which we read before. So he says, Atra pramanam brahmaiva punsha strishu uchyate diti. He says, among men, or from the example is of Brahma, because Brahma, he was attracted to his own daughter. And among the women, example is Diti. So these two examples in Bhagavatam are there to show us the power of this libido. That how it agitates the mind, covers one's intelligence, one actually becomes blind. There is one very nice sloka which says that Diva pashyati no loko kake naktam na pashyati apurva kopi kamandho diva naktam na pashyati. It says that an owl does not see in daytime. If you have seen an owl, they don't see in daytime, they are just sitting. And a crow cannot see at night. He is blind at night, in darkness he cannot see. It says there is another strange person who cannot see in day or at night, both. He is called Kamandha, blinded by lust. It says a man blinded by lust is worse than an owl and a crow, because at least a crow sees in daytime, an owl sees at night, but a man blinded by lust does not see day, night, or the dusk. Nothing. So that is the example which is being given here. So that's why one has to know this and be very careful about it. So there are many stories in Bhagavatam about this. The story of sage Saubhri. He was meditating and he was in knowledge about this. He was a great yogi and he knew that on the path of yoga this is one of the very big obstacles. Many yogis have problems with this. Even the contemporary yogis, you always hear the scandals. Right? You can go on the internet and read about it. So everywhere you will find this scandal. So this Saubhri was intelligent. He said that I will go in a place where there is no chance of it. So he went inside the Yamuna and he knew what is called Digbandha, or there is yogic power that you can go inside the water and you can make a space inside and you can sit and meditate. So no human being is going to come there, nobody is even going to see you there. So he was sitting, and this was not very far from this place. This Sunrak is actually supposed to the place of Saubhri Muni. And he meditated inside Yamuna water for many years, many years, without eating, just living on air. And then one day when he was meditating, and he must have opened his eyes, probably he was relaxing, and then he saw two fish inside the water, playing with each other. And this gave him the lusty thought. Because when you give up something, especially if you try to suppress something, if you starve yourself from one particular taste, suppose you give up eating sweets and don't eat sweets for 1 month, and then you will see how much strong craving you will have for the sweet if you see the sweet. That even the smell, it becomes irresistible. At least 2 people told this to me. Even Maharaj told this. That once he gave up and he says one day he went and he saw this and then he ate so much sweets. So therefore this Saubhri Muni, he got such an intense desire that he came out from the water, he gave up his samadhi and he walked all the way to Mathura from here, where this was a kingdom at that time. And he approached the king and said that I want to marry and give me your daughter in marriage. And the guy was completely bony, he was not eating nothing. It's amazing that how he even walked. So that shows that the desire, how strong it is. So Bhagavatam says that only if one is devotee, one can conquer this, otherwise not possible. And why is that? Because when one is a devotee, then one's ahankara is changed. In all other paths, you keep your ahankara, your ego. Now we are studying Sankhya, that's why Sankhya is very important to understand. So you always keep your ahankara, I am a yogi, I am a jnani, I am this, I am that. But in Bhakti Marg, in the path of devotion, your ego is changed that I am a servant. And servant means that I am not independent. That's why we eat food, we offer it first to Krishna. And then we eat. We don't do anything independently. So in Bhakti Marg, this idea that I am enjoyer is given up. I am not an enjoyer. Krishna is the enjoyer and I am the person who facilitates his enjoyment. Therefore, bhakti means to work for the pleasure of God. So this very root cause is removed. So then one is not having lusty feeling that I want to enjoy because I don't have that intention. It is taken away. So many of these stories are there to show this idea. Now later on we will read that Diti was also devotee. It's not that she was not, but she was not very elevated in that sense because she also prays to God and she also believes in it. So drishtaya swadrishtaya upivivesa rema. Therefore he paid obeisances to his fortune, and then he had union with his wife. And after that, athopsprisya salilam prananayam nevagyatah dhyayan jajapa virjam brahma jyoti sanatanam. Then after that he took bath and he controlled his life airs and his speech, and while meditating on the absolute reality which is effulgent, then he chanted mantra, jajap. So after that he again came back to his original mood. That means his mind was not into enjoyment. He was very much fixed in his mind, and even if he has to have union with his wife, then he was not lost in it. So immediately he took a dip in the nearby river. There were no bathrooms in those days. And he again controlled his life here, sat and chanted. And Diti, now she is feeling shy. Ditistu vridita tene karma avadyena bharata. Sumatra said that of Vidura, now Diti felt full of shame, knowing that she has performed a wrong act. So this also happens, that when there is a very great push for sexual act, then person becomes blind. But once one has gone through it, then one's discrimination again comes back, and one starts repenting or thinking. So this is the characteristic of the mind. So upsangamya viprarshim adho mukhyabha bhasata. So then she approached the great sage Kashyapa, and lowering her head, then she spoke to him in the following words. So upsprisya snatva achamya jajapa pranavam gayatrim. So what was he chanting? He says either he was chanting Gayatri mantra or he was chanting Om. One of these two mantras. And then Diti is coming and speaking to him while he was doing pranayam, because pranayam is supposed to also remove the impurities of the body, and chanting, and he is controlling his speech and then chanting. So this means he is thinking that if there is any impurity I have incurred in this way, I will purify myself. Then Diti speaks. Diti Ruvacha Mame garbhamimam brahman bhutanam vrishabho vadhit rudraha patirhi bhutanam yasya karamam anhasam. So now she is remembering the words of Kashyapa, who said that Lord Shiva goes around and this is not the proper time. So she says that, my dear husband, let Shiva, who is the master of all living beings, Shiva is called Bhutpati, means the master of all the Bhutas, or Bhutanam Rishna, Pashupati also. So may he not destroy my womb. So Rudra Patirhi Bhutanam, he is the master of all living beings, and I have offended him, because this is the forbidden time, as we read earlier, and I have acted improperly, so I have displeased him. So may he not react, because if Shiva becomes angry, then he may abort her womb, and then she will have no children, no child. So Navadhit Mahantu, he may not kill. So fearing that, then she is paying respect to him. She says, Namo Rudraya Mahate Devaya Ugraya Midhuse Shivaya Nastadandaya Dhitradandaya Manyave Sena Prasidatam Bhamo Bhagwan Urvanugraha Vyadhasya Pune Kampyanam Strinam Deva Satipati. So he is saying that my obeisance is to Lord Shiva, who fulfills the desire of his devotees, and he is Mahadev. He does welfare to all the saintly people, and he does not chastise anybody, but he carries a stick in his hand for the unrighteous people. And he says that even hunters are merciful to women like us. Moreover, he is my brother-in-law, because he is the husband of my sister, Satipati. So may he be pleased with me. So in this way, she is praying to Lord Shiva, that Lord Shiva does not get upset with him. Paschatapavati pranamati. So being full of remorse, he is bowed down to Lord Shiva. Rudraya marodishyate kimva mam rit rodanam kripya dravishyate durikarishyate. So one of the names for Lord Shiva is Rudra, which means who makes other cry. So the meaning wise is saying Namo Rudraya, that may he not make me cry. Mam rodishyate. Or it could mean that one who will remove my crying. May he remove my crying, so that I don't have to cry. Why? He is Mahadev. He is great God, and therefore he will forgive my offense. Because great people are those who forgive. Lord Brahma was praying to Krishna when he was offended. He says, I am like a baby in the lap of mother. So baby may kick, mother does not take offense. So like that she says that you are a great Lord, so please don't take offense. But he is also Ugra. Ugra means ferocious. Namo Rudraya Mahate Devaya Ugraya. So Madgarbham Imam Hanishyate. So will he destroy my womb because he is Ugra? And then he says Midhuse. Man Manorath Shakhinam Kripamritena Abhishekshate. No, he will not do that, because he is Midhusha also, which means he will shower the nectar of his blessings on the branch of my desires. So he will not harm me. And therefore he is Shiva, which means all auspicious. So there is no possibility that some inauspicious result will come from him. And Nirasta Dandaya. So he is saying that he has given up his rod of chastisement. Otherwise Lord Shiva is Shulapani, he has his trident in his hand. Kimva Dhrita Dandaya. But then he says Nesta Dandaya, Dhrita Dandaya. First he says that she has given up his danda. Danda means stick. And then he says dhrit danda, and that he is holding the stick. So he says, Kim va dhrit dandaya mam dandishyate? So will he punish me because he has the stick in his hand? Yato manyave. Manyu Swarupa, because he is personification of the anger. So she is using both types of names for him. So then he says, Sena prasidatam bhamu. Now she finds a relationship. That all these names don't say that he will not destroy my home because he is Ugra, he is Rudra, he is Dhritdanda. So, but if someone is related to you, then there is chance of pleasing. Therefore it says, Evam sanshayana eva stuvana swadanyam darsyanti tasmad abhyam prarthayate. So she is doubtful while praying, and then showing her humility, she prays for fearlessness from him. Now she says that you are my brother-in-law, Bhamo Bhaginipati, husband of my sister, Urur Anugraha Yasyase, and you have great compassion. And says that Vyadhasya Nirdayasya api Satipati Strinam Svabhava Sasvameva Vetiti Sucheti. So he says that even people who are always killing animals, the hunters, they are kind towards women. So what to speak of Lord Shiva. And Devaha Satipati, he is the husband of Sati, which is the name of Diti's sister married to Shiva. So that is to signify that he knows the nature of women. And knowing the nature of women, then he should not punish me. Women are like that, so why to get angry on them? Yadva satyapi anurodhena tad bhagnim mam dandetu iti sasati madapradham marjatu iti abhava. Or she is using the name Satipati, that because Sati is my sister, and therefore she will speak on my behalf. And don't punish her because she is my sister. So in that intention, she is saying Satipati. So she is basically understanding the situation, and she is most worried from Shiva. Because earlier he has scared her about Lord Shiva going around, and he is Bhutpati, and he has all these great personalities around him. So now she is worried about that. Maitreya Uvacha Swasargasya Ashisham Lokyam Ashasham Pravepatim Nivritta Sandhyani Amo Bharyamaha Prajapati. So Maitreya said that when Kashyapa, he saw that his wife was very much fearful, and practically she was shaking out of fear. It says Vepati. Pravepati means shaking, or you trembling. You tremble out of fear, and in cold. So she was trembling in fear, and she wanted that her womb is not destroyed. This was her desire, this was the blessing she wanted. So then Prajapati Kashyapa, who was performing his sandhya, and he completed it, his meditation, and he spoke the following words to his wife. So swasargasya swasantanasya lokyam lokdayarham. She's begging grace for her children or her child. So Kashyapa, he speaks very nicely. He is now not trying to get on her case or criticize, not trying to tell, I already told you, now why are you coming, you so stupid woman, nothing like that. Usually men do like that. So he is not like that. He is being very cordial and a very nice husband, understanding the mind. So he says, Aprayatyadatmanaste doshan mohurtika duta mannideshaticharine devanam chati helenat bhavishyatastava bhadrava bhadre jatharadhanu lokan sapalan strinschandi muhurakrandishyataha प्राणिनां हन्यमानानां दीनानां अकृतागसां स्त्रीणां निगृह्यमाणानां कोपितेषु महात्मसु तदा विश्वेश्वरः क्रुद्धो भगवान् लोकभावनः अंशति अवतीर्यसौ यथा द्रिंशत्पर्वधृक्. So he's saying that look, you do not control your mind, and therefore because of this uncontrol of the mind and because of the improper time and not listening to what I said and disregarding the gods. So there are four mistakes you made. That you did not control your mind, and you disregarded the time, you disregarded my instructions, and also the instructions of the devas like Shiva. So because of this, he says that Bhavishyatas tava abhadrao abhadre. Says that he is actually calling her abhadra, that you are inauspicious and therefore you are going to get two inauspicious sons, Jatradhanu, from your womb. Lokan sapalan strins chandi muhur akrandishyata, and they will terrify all the three worlds. So he's calling him Chandi, the passionate lady. He says, oh you passionate lady, these two sons, they will make the whole world cry. Akrandishyata. And praninam hanyamananam dinanam akritagasham. They will kill living beings who are faultless. And strinam nigrihyamananam. They will also control women, or trouble women, kopiteshu mahatmasu. And they will be angry on saintly people. Tada Vishweshwara Kruddho Bhagwan Loka Bhavana. At that time the Supreme Lord, the creator of the world, will become angry and he will come down and kill them. Just as Lord Indra, he cut the wing of the mountains. Right? Before, long ago, the mountains used to fly. They had wings. And this was very terrifying because they are flying and then wherever they want to sit, and they smash everything. So the sages, they approached Indra that you have to do something about these mountains. They fly around and we are sitting and meditating, when they are going up, we don't know, they can fall on our head. So Indra came down and he cut the wings of the mountains, and then mountains could not fly after that. They became stable. So this is some historical fact that once upon a time the mountains were probably not stable. they were moving around or floating in the ocean, I don't know, something, and then they would have been stabilized, because mountains were also formed. Some big action happened, and there was some movement. So that is explained as mountains flying and Indra coming and cutting the wings. So it says, just as these mountains was causing terror. So imagine suddenly you see a big mountain flying over your head, and if mountain wants to park or land, then the whole town is crushed in, house and everything is gone. So and maybe the mountains were taking pleasure in doing that. They probably were going around and doing it, going on the cities and sitting there. So city means that you go and sit. That's what is called sitting. So then Indra came and cut the wings, and fortunately mountains did not have legs. Usually the birds have legs and wings, so even if you cut their wings, they can still walk. So they didn't have legs, only wings. So like you have aeroplanes, they have wings, and they also have their landing wheels, but landing wheels go inside when they are flying. So Indra came and he taped the wheels could not come out.
Elaborating on this.
And cut the wings come down. So therefore he is now saying that this is what will happen to you. Te tava atmano manso aprayatyad apavitrayat krur manso. Says because your mind was not in control, it was polluted, and because of polluted mind, then in the Mahurta, Sandhya Rupo, the dusk time, which is Ghora, terrible time, Tad Bhavad Dosad, because of this defect, Ghoro Sandhyaya Dvighatikatvacha. So, yesterday the question was asked that why there are two children. So, one of the explanation which is given here is that this dusk lasts for 2 Ghatikas. And therefore 2 children were born by the blessing of dusk. Vallabhacharya has given another explanation. He says that there are 4 mistakes he made: uncontrolled mind, wrong time, not listening to Kashyapa, and offending the Devas. So 2 mistakes gave 1 son. 2 mistakes combined together produced 1 child.
Mathematically.
So therefore 2 children were born. So mama nidesasya agya vakyasya atichareణ atikrameణ cha dharma maryada abhanjano devanam srirudranam helnacha bhagavad vidveshinam. So because you did not listen to me, and you also transgressed the principle of dharma established by Rudra, therefore you will get 2 sons who will be enemy of the Lord, who will oppose or opponents of the Lord. Hey Abhadre, and therefore you are Abhadra, inauspicious, because you are producing some children. Iti tavaiva abhadrani tvatputriyo sancharisyanti iti bhava. He says it is your inauspiciousness which is flowing into these sons.
Not mine. Not mine.
Not mine.
Yes.
He is keeping himself separate.
Yes.
Jatrau tadjathar bhavo adhamo putrau evam vyastat samastat cha doshat lokan. So Jathar Adhamo, Jatra means the womb and Adam means low. So he says these two sons will be born and they will have the defects. Therefore there will be no He Chandi or passionate one. Madharm Vakyapi Yatvaya Prachandyam Kritam. You disregarded my religious statements. Tasya idam phalam bhungsha. So now you have to go through the result of that. Kam krodhyas tvam khanirevasi. It says that you are the mind of lust and anger. Kashyapasyapi tasyam kropo vyakta. So it says by saying this Chandi, he is also expressing his anger on her. Kiyattayor ayuriti chet shrinu. How long they will live? So listen. Praninam ityadi pranishu satparvadhrik vajadharendrai. So it says that they are going to terrify the whole creation actually. And then Lord himself has to appear to kill them. So one question, there is a very nice commentary here by Vishnu Vallabhacharya. It says, Nanu mato bhastra pitu putra iti shastrat bijat dushtatva katham tayor doshvatvam iti ashankya aha. Jatradanu. It says that wife is considered as like a field and husband is the one who gives the seed. So why that these two sons will be born like this? Okay, you can say that her mind was polluted, but they are combination of both. They are combination of both husband and wife. Putrasya ubhyam sattvapi matri doshaneva dushta iti gyap. So why that they will be born only because of the defect of the mother? So he gives a nice answer. He says, Uttam bijam api yatha sudrayam pravishtam sudratam apadyate tatha iti. He says even if the seed is good and if the field is not good, then it will not give the proper result. Or he gives another example that if husband is of high class and he produces children in a low class woman, then there is a rule that the sons will be known by the caste of the mother. So that is his explanation. Then the word avatar is used, that Lord will come down. Avatar actually means to come down, to kill. And these two, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, are actually servants of the Lord, Jay and Vijay. So he says it is improper for the master to kill the servants, therefore he is coming down. That is the meaning of avatar. Means he is coming down from his position as master. And then he kills them. So that's why the word avtirya, descending, has been used. Now there is a movie coming called Avatar.
Who is the avatar?
The movies say that there are people and then they have their avatars. And they control their avatars. This is not avatar of Lord, but I just got an email that in the movie, like you are there and then you have your avatar in another place. And you control your avatar.
This is in the games of children also in computer.
Yeah, but now there is a movie like that.
There is also a movie.
Yeah.
So again, the term avatar will be misleading. We struggled hard with the incarnation. Now we have to struggle hard with the avatar.
So this email was, that's what the email was talking about. Because different people are giving different comments. How this word is it used properly or is it misused?
It seems that Daksha really had some, how would you say, intense, high caliber daughters. And Sati burned herself. Niti is like the example of uncontrolled lust. What about the third one? What's her name? Akuti? Or, the third daughter?
Well, that was another Daksha. This is another Daksha. That was the first Daksha. He had 3. Devuti and Akuti and Sati.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm getting it.
But
Now
here she
this
said,
Daksha had 50.
Oh, yeah.
but her said that she said that Shiva is the husband of my sister.
Sati.
Sati. So Sati is the sister of.
Yeah, because this Daksha was born again Daksha. So
So
she is considering
yeah.
the previous relations.
So that's why. Yeah, but it seems like this, early days, ladies, they were like really tough.
Very powerful.
Kasyapa Muni's description of the 2 sons is very powerful. Can that be in any way linked to a manifestation of his powers and the reverse?
His powers. He did not say that.
Didn't come out there? It wasn't said that it's a reflection of his powers or hers.
It is her, not his.
That's right.
It is the influence of Diti that they are born.
Yet she's unaware of who they are and what they will do and that they'll be killed by Vishnu. But he is aware of that.
Yeah.
How's that then?
Because he is a sage, he has vision. What is the meaning of sage? They can see the future. Satkaryavad.
Satkarya, yes.
He is a yogi.
Yeah.
So he can see what Diti cannot see.
So there seems to be an incompatibility in a yogi having wives of such lesser qualification.
There was no other possibility. Either you have a wife, or you have a wife, or you go without wife. Because there was not much choice.
He was a yogi involved in meditation a lot, so...
Why did he even have a wife?
Yeah, why have a wife, you know?
Because he was ordered to produce, he is a Prajapati.
He's a
It was also
Prajapati.
his service to produce children. That's
Sorry, but there's something outside.
They want a monkey.
monkeys. They come and sleep here.
I'm just coming.
They want to hear about
Sorry, that's bolted.
philosophy.
Maybe he has the same issue as Jyoti.
Now, I'd like to understand too.
Yes, he had wives and he was ordered to produce children. But that does not mean that just have union and produce children. It produce qualified children. So therefore having controlled mind, meditate, so that nice children are produced.
But in this particular instance, can we infer, I guess, it doesn't say that, but I heard, that he knew it was sort of his responsibility to bring in these 2 demons for Sri Vishnu? Or?
No, it was not his responsibility. He did not want it. It was forced on him.
I'd like to understand another point, and that is
Otherwise, he is also father of Lord Vamanadev
yes,
from Aditi.
yes.
Because Aditi did this Payavrata ceremony and Lord came. So she followed what he instructed. So this is what he wanted, great children.
One who followed and one who didn't.
He's also father of Indra.
Indra.
Aditi's son, Indra is Aditi's son. That's why Aditi wanted someone who will take the kingdom back from Bali.
Right. That was the whole.
He was the son
Much
of
more
Marichi.
complicated.
Kashyapa, yes.
There are many asanas with the name of sages,
Yeah.
because they also practice asana, also if there was Rishi.
I would like to understand what was stated before about the general overall desire in men and the strong desire in women occasionally, right? And because, I'm trying to relate this to see this in today's world, what I know of it. And there's such an increasing incidence of intense violence by men upon women regarding sex, that I can't really put together that it's a general all-pervading and maybe a less less intense, especially when it's said that the woman's desire is more intense, but she's more the object rather than the instigator.
But that does not mean that she does not have intense desire.
No, but,
Just not in this situation, right?
yeah, but well, I'm trying to understand this in today's world where there's such a growing intensity of violence by men who are meant to have just a general desire.
Yeah, because men are easily excited. That's what I already said, that men are very easily sexually excited than women. But once women are excited, then their intensity is more than men. They are not easily excited. And of course, you may also know that the situation now is such that even men have women-like features and mentality, and women have more like men thinking. This is when women were actually women and men were actually men. But now so many things have changed because of our habits, our lifestyle, our mode of food. Women are also acting like men, doing jobs like men. They have developed mentality like men, they dress like men. And then men, they are also very much enticed all the time by advertisements on all these things. So they create so much lusty feeling in their mind. And then when they are excited, they want to fulfill it. They attack women.
So you need to apply such slokas in terms of just what you're saying for today. It's not you can't transplant it exactly how it is into today.
Situations, the
Yes.
slokas are written by seeing the mentality
Of-
at that time.
At that time.
Things change.
Okay.
Everything may not change, but everything is not exactly same. So, and again, these are some guidelines, thumb rules. It does not mean that it applies for every woman or every man, just in general. Otherwise, every man, every woman is unique, different.
So I would also like to understand something in terms of knowing how to understand Shastra, in that there's different opinions on why there were two sons, right? Each different Mahatmas have their different points of view, and they're basing it on certain reasons, you know. So how far do you take the events in the Shastras as, I don't want to
Well,
use
this is an explanation given by the commentator.
Okay.
Shastra is what we are reading, and there is no explanation given there. These are commentators giving their understanding or their realization.
Their realization.
Yeah, it is possible that both are true because they are not contradicting each other.
Okay.
So one is seeing it in this manner, that it is because of the time, and one is seeing because of these 4 defects, and maybe both combined are giving the result.
Obviously somebody had to be the mother of these 2 demons. Was it due to because of her karma? I mean, it doesn't seem like a nice thing that she had to do.
Yeah, if you see from that point of view, then she also must have some history from the past that she has to be the mother.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
That's why he bowed down to Providence.
Mm.
He realized that this is something ordained which has to happen like
Well,
this.
that's what I meant when I said his responsibility. I didn't mean, that he knew this had to happen. Sorry. That's what I meant when I was asking if it was Kashyap's responsibility. I meant in the terms of he knew he had to participate in this because Krishna wanted it to happen, essentially, that these 2 should come.
Yeah, that's what Providence means.
Okay.
Providence means that it is the way that it has to happen.